Welcome back, future teachers. This is our second deep dive into TKT Unit 1 grammar. Last time, we lay the foundation. Today, we're going to get into the really good stuff, the structures that will make you a much more effective and, honestly, a more confident grammar guide in your own classroom. So here's our game plan. Think of it this way. We're not just memorizing rules today. Instead, we're adding 5 essential tools to your teaching toolkit. We'll start with determiners, then move on to pronouns. After that, we'll look at the linkers and exclamations that give English its flow and feeling. We'll also tackle those tricky words with dual functions, and then wrap it all up with a key summary to get you ready for the TKT exam. Okay, let's grab our first tool from the kit, determiners. The best way to think about these as little spotlights for nouns. They frame them, they give them context, and they provide the clarity your students need to know exactly what you're talking about. So, the crucial point here is that determiners basically have 2 main jobs, and you can totally teach them this way. They answer 2 simple questions. Which one, like in that house, that's identifying, and how many, like in some people, that's quantifying. See? Simple, right? Now, determiner isn't just one type of word. It's a whole family of words. You've got your everyday articles like a and the. You have specific pointers like this and that. And you even have words that ask questions, like, whose book is this? So how do you bring this to life in the classroom without just doing boring drills? You make it a game. You could do an article scavenger hunt where students have to find things in the room that start with a or the, or get them up and moving with a pointing game using this, that, these, and those. It's all about active learning. Okay, now let's talk about a common trap, something that confuses students and, let's be honest, teachers too. How can the same word, like some, be 2 different things? This brings us to the golden rule of grammar. Syntax determines function. If the word has a noun right after it, like some apples, it's a determiner. But if it's standing alone, replacing that noun, like in some have left, then it's a pronoun. And that's a perfect lead-in to our next tool, pronouns. These are the ultimate replacements. Seriously, they're your students' best friends for getting rid of repetition, writing cleaner sentences, and just sounding way more natural when they speak. And here's a perfect before and after to show your class. Start with a clunky sentence like, Sarah is a great student and Sarah always finishes Sarah's work. It just sounds awkward, right? Then you show them the pronoun version. The light bulb moment is instant. They'll immediately get why pronouns are so powerful. And just like determiners, pronouns are a big, diverse family. Each one has a really specific job, from personal pronouns like he and she, to relative pronouns like who and which that help connect ideas, all the way to indefinite pronouns like somebody for when we don't know exactly who we're talking about. Here's a super fun activity for your classroom. Call it Sentence Makeover. Just give your students a short paragraph that's really repetitive. Their mission is to act as editors and fix it by swapping out all those repeated nouns for different pronouns. It turns grammar practice into a fun, creative puzzle. All right, so we've identified our nouns and we've replaced them. But now, how do we connect our ideas and add some genuine emotion? Well, that's where our next set of tools comes in. Linkers, things like prepositions and conjunctions, and of course, exclamations. I absolutely love this way of thinking about prepositions. They are the grammar GPS for your students. They do so much more than just put things in a box or on a table. They show complex relationships of time, purpose, cause, and contrast. It really shows how powerful these tiny words are. And when it comes to conjunctions, you can really break them down into 2 main types. You've got your coordinating conjunctions like and but, which are like balanced scales. They join 2 ideas of equal weight. Then you have subordinating conjunctions like because and while, which are more like interlocking gears. They connect a main idea to a supporting one that depends on it. And to add that human touch, that personality, we need exclamations. A really cool way to teach this is like a ladder of emotional intensity. Your students can start at the bottom with a simple sound like, wow, and climb their way up to a full complex emotional thought like, I can't believe we actually won. It shows them the huge range of expression they have. A fantastic dynamic way to practice linkers is to create conjunction chains. It's so easy. One student starts a story with a simple idea, like, the dog ran outside, and the next person has to add to it using a specific conjunction you give them, like because or so. It's collaborative, it's creative, and it really drills the function of each word. Okay,
let's get to the most advanced tools in our kit, the language chameleons. Now, these words can be a bit of a challenge for your students, but mastering them unlocks a much deeper understanding of how English really works. These are the words that can change their job depending entirely on the context.
This right here is such a critical concept. The word paper, for example, isn't just one thing. It can be a countable paper or an uncountable material. Dance can be a noun or a verb. The most important rule you can teach your students is this: context is king. The words around a word are the clues to what it's doing.
And get this, even verbs, the very engines of our sentences, can be chameleons. Take the verb have. It can be the main action, like in I have a car, or it can just be a helper verb, like in they have finished. Teaching students to spot these shifts is a huge step toward real fluency.
And some words can literally live in two categories at the same time. Is the word cool an action or a description? Is late describing a noun or a verb? The answer is, it can be both. Using a Venn diagram like this is a perfect way to show your students that grammar isn't always about clean, separate boxes. So here it is, the most important takeaway for your students. You need to get them to stop asking, what is this word, and start asking, what is this word doing in this sentence? That one shift in perspective, that's the key to everything. Okay, we've just added a whole bunch of powerful new tools to our teaching toolkit. So let's take a moment to consolidate everything into a clear summary that's going to help you ace that TKT exam and, more importantly, be an amazing teacher in your own classroom. And please, always remember this. Your goal as a teacher is not to get students to memorize a long list of rules. Your real job is to hand them a toolkit, show them what each tool does, and empower them to build and decode the language all on their own. And here you go, your TKT cheat sheet. For each tool we've talked about today, determiners, pronouns, linkers, and those chameleon words, this table shows you exactly what the TKT is likely to ask you, and it gives you a simple, practical activity you can literally use in class tomorrow. So, as you continue on your teaching journey, the final question I want to leave you with is this. How are you going to take these concepts and transform them from just abstract rules on a page into a powerful, creative toolkit that your students can use to express themselves with real confidence?